Hi, Shelton. I am thrilled you are here today. Shelton, when did we meet? Like
Oh,
15 years ago?
yeah, because I moved here 16 years ago, so probably like 15 and a half. I think like right when I moved here, we met. We were like
Which,
all in the friend group.
yeah, which I think that was the year that I moved here as well, which is crazy to see
Yes, yeah.
where we started and where we're at now. But I love that we are still in touch after all of these years and that we've still stayed in LA.
Yes, I know we're still here. So many of our friends have gone.
Everybody. I feel like that friend group we had just kind of like all did their own thing, but we are here and we are making it in LA. So
Yeah.
I would, I mean, I know you well, but I would love for you to tell everybody who Shelton Wilder is, what you're doing day to day, and we'll get into a lot more of why you're on the podcast. But
Oh
let's talk about
yeah.
you.
Well, thanks for having me. I'm so excited you're doing this. It's definitely necessary. I'm so excited to hear everything you're doing too. So that was amazing to get caught up to. And who is Shelton Wilder? Well, I am a luxury realtor in Los Angeles. My firm is called Shelton Wilder Group, and I am at Sotheby's and Brentwood. And I'm a realtor, but I'm also the CEO of my company. I have 6 agents on my team and a team of total of around 14 of us. They're like different people that help and also the other agents. And I love my team. I'm so grateful and it's just the best experience. It's kind of like my own family that we've created. And also I have 2 kids. I have 2 boys. We were just talking about the kids, and they're Bo and Lane. They are 6 and 8 years old, and so they're about to start school. They're going in 1st and 3rd. And then I'm married, happily married to Clark, and he's an attorney, and we have been together 10 years and just celebrated 9 years married. And so, yeah, I mean, I have a very busy, full life, and I love doing podcasts. I love talking about being an entrepreneur. That's what I consider myself. I don't just say a realtor. I consider what I'm doing. It's a business that I run, and yeah, and we can talk today about all of the failures that I had that got me to this point, and all of the lessons that I learned, the lessons that I keep learning, all of them, and they don't go away. You always have to keep learning, but yeah, so that's kind of the nuts and bolts of where I am today and living in Brentwood and working and being a mom and all that.
Yeah. And I think people don't realize being an entrepreneur is one of the hardest jobs because you're not only running a business, you're creating and you're pivoting and you're constantly doing things and you never really get that break for yourself.
Oh, yeah, there are no breaks or no days off. So people are like, "Oh, I want to have my own business because then I have my own hours." Well, that doesn't happen when you have your own business. You're always working, which is you better be doing something that you love. So I don't even feel like what I'm doing is working because I actually love it so much because it's just connecting with people mostly. And then I consider it like helping the people to build wealth, helping them to own real estate, buy and sell real estate. I actually talked to your husband about that, and he was very helpful and talking that through with the lending side. But yeah, it's the same thing. So I feel like I'm very much of service, but yeah, so being an entrepreneur, you work all the time, but also being a realtor, you're on your client's time. So it's like a double other people's schedules, but I have a lot of help and I have a lot of resources. And I'll talk about that too because I think it's so important. We were just talking about that too, and about how the nannies and the help. And I was just sharing about how Juanita, we call her Nino, and she's they call her mommy too, and she's a third parent. And thank God for her, and thank God my husband Clark is so involved and so helpful. And we have the boys, and it's like he's living vicariously through them. They're in bands and
Mhm.
doing all the sports, and he loves all the things. I mean, thank God I married him because I wouldn't be wanting to run to all, all of those lacrosse. I'm sorry, I'm just being honest. Like the lacrosse and the swimming and the band. I'm glad he loves all of that. I like to work.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, I get it. As a mom with two boys as well, a little bit younger, but the interests are creeping in. And I think we've been to every planetarium, any sort of space exhibit in the city. And I finally blocked out in my husband's calendar this weekend. You're going to the Discovery Cube. I have been there enough. Uh,
Your
but
turn. Yeah.
your turn. But like we were talking about before, we hit record. We have no shame in saying what we're doing we need help with. We raise our hand for help, we bring in help, because to create an empire, it doesn't just happen. It's hard work all the time until you pop.
Yes, until you pop, and then people think it's, oh, just so quick and so, oh wow, look, she just came out of nowhere. It's like, no, I didn't. Oh my gosh. You should have seen all the crying I was doing. You should have seen all the nights, like, oh, the stress. But that's fine. People can see what they want to see on, social media and all of that, and we make it look really great. But it's a lot of work. People, yeah, it's a lot of work, and it's I am I love that part of it though. I love growing with people. I love giving people opportunities. I Yeah, that's been so important to me. I mean, I have a lot of a female-led team and all of that, and that's been I love that. I mean, men are welcome too, and all of that. It's just like it's been really fun. I have a lot of moms on my team. It's like a mom team. Not everyone is, but it's really fun. We're really good at multitasking, I found,
Mhm.
that moms
Yeah.
are. And yeah, so it's just I just love, and like you said too, like the giving back. And we were just filming this morning and getting meals ready for this homey made meals that we do every month, and the Alexandria house that we're giving back. So that part is super fun too, to stay involved with the community, as well as being an agent, and yeah, just getting, there's so much fun stuff to do. Yeah.
So much. And so we're talking more about the present moment. Let's dive back into the past. I mean,
Oh,
when you and I met, we both were doing totally different things, and we both
yes.
ended up here. Share a little bit about your journey to, I mean, you're working towards a big, big vision, but how did you get there, and where did you start, and how do you like figure that out?
Okay, well, I think that the best schooling that I did was having businesses that failed and then learning from them and moving on. So I ran a store. I was a manager of a store in the buyer in Charlotte called Capital, and it was super high end. There's actually one now in Brentwood, which is so fun. I get to go there and shop and see the girls there too. And that was an incredible experience. And I worked there for 7 years, and I decided, okay, well, I'm 26. I need to move on. And I decided I wanted to live in LA. And like, I got to try it out. And if it doesn't work out, I can always move back to Charlotte. No problem. And so I did it. I made the leap, and I left there and moved out here and decided to start my own business with one of our friends, Copper. And so it was a luxury lifestyle management company. And we just made it up. We were like, well, we're going to shop and style for people. And we planned this insane wedding for clients of mine. And, we were just kind of doing that whole thing. It was like a concierge business, planning nights out. I had a driver for clients, all the things. And so that was pretty successful. And then I got the grandiose idea. I was drinking a lot at the time. I'm sober now, but a lot of the ideas are really brewing in there.
Oh, yeah.
And so I started a clothing line with some friends too, and it was called Sheltini. And so I had that, and it was kind of getting off the ground and doing well. But I tell people I was kind of doing a Ponzi scheme on myself.
No.
I was like taking the money from my successful business and then kind of funneling it into my clothing line, because I don't know if anyone knows, but it costs so much money to start a clothing line. You just have to get
Oh.
the samples there. There's no money coming in. It's just so much. There's marketing, there's the cost of the samples, there's the cost of the goods, and it was very overwhelming. And then 2008 and then 2009 hit, and then ended up filing bankruptcy. I had lost everything. And so that was kind of my journey. And I was, just really drinking too much. And then so in October 22nd, 2009, I had my last drink. Thank God I had an intervention with my friends that I was living with and one of my business partners. And so I really got some help there. And so I've been sober ever since, coming up on 13 years. So knock on
Congrats.
wood. Yeah. So it's been a long journey. It's been a long
Mhm.
journey. And that's kind of what happened though. So those businesses I really, those failed or whatever, but I learned a lot. I feel like I got, an MBA in slips, an MBA and knowing, what to do. But I've taken all of the knowledge from those businesses. Then later on, after getting sober, and then I had like, I call it my sober job, and worked at a store, and then, wanted health insurance and all those things. And then I ended up getting on Shark Tank, and I restarted the clothing line, calling it Shimmy, because Sheltini was the name of my drink, my name. So I was like, maybe that name
Rebrand.
we need a rebrand on like Shimmy. And so anyway, basically Shimmy was like what Skims is now, but I wasn't famous enough. Kim Kardashian is a little more famous than I am. So, but it's a great product. I mean, it's very successful. But it wasn't patented or anything. So Kim's crushing it. She has a great,
Oh,
the
Kim K took
marketing.
the idea, ran with
Yeah,
it.
no, listen, everybody has their own. But yeah, so it was these little slips and everything. So I was on the show, and it was, it was great getting on the show. It was a very dramatic episode. I
Yeah.
cried. I went bankrupt. I was sober. It was very dramatic. And but I ended up raising my own money through Kickstarter. So that I learned how to do that. I was learning a lot of different things, all these great skills. And anyway, I did that, and I had the line for a while, but then I realized I had my first son, Bo. He's 8.5 now. And I pretty much did nothing after that. Like, I was able just to be a mom. I called myself CEO of Bo. I nursed for 19 months. I just really kind of took on that role.
Yeah.
And but I still kind of had the slips in the back of my mind of like, am I going to do this? I'm selling this. And I really sat down and got quiet with it. And I just really hated it. I'm like, oh my God, my job was like running to ship things. I hate that. When I would get an order, I'd be like, oh damn it. I was like mad
Yeah.
when I got an
Yeah.
order. Like, okay, I think we're done here. My husband's like, oh Shelton, like if I hear you complain about getting an order one more time, I'm like, who does that?
But
So,
that happens. People create businesses they hate.
oh my
You know,
gosh,
yeah.
yes. I mean, I love the product. I still
Yeah.
wear the product. It's
I
so
still
good.
have one.
Exactly. All of us had one. We all like did like the trunk
I,
shows. I mean, at
yeah.
one point I was in like 55 store. I mean,
Hmm.
it did go well. It's obviously a great product. They still last. I mean,
Yeah.
I still have some from 15 years ago that are like still good. And so, but it's just, I don't like that business. And then I
Hmm.
was like really praying, meditating, going deep. Like, what do I like to do? What was I good at? I'm good at sales. I'm great at people. I love interacting with people. I love being out and about. I didn't like being like, even when I was at the store,
Yeah.
I was like the Rachel Zoe of Charlotte. Like, even the owner, like, I still talk to her. I love her, Laura, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, you were just all over the place." Because I said, well, I know, I'll just pack my car with like
Mhm.
$50,000 worth of clothes, and I'll sell 30,000 a day, or I can just be in the store waiting for people to come in. I'm like, I'm very
Yeah.
proactive. I'm like, we got to do something. So it's pretty much, I was like, what am I gonna do? I'm like, am I gonna like sell yachts? Am I gonna sell
Hmm.
planes? Am I gonna what should I'm like homes? I'm like, well, I want a home.
Yeah.
I love home. It's not as much like I love homes and architecture. Like, that's all fine. I love being able to help people in a lasting some like clothes are great and it makes you feel great about yourself and beautiful and like how you present to the world. I get it. But
But it's temporary.
it's very once you buy it, it's like that, but the homes are like, your equity, you're building, and you feel built have stability and all these different things. So that's what I chose. And I just like my mentor says, I just went balls out. I mean, I couldn't. Clark says I couldn't afford to pay attention. I mean,
Yeah.
nothing. Clark didn't say like, oh, here's a bag of money to go start your business. It was like, oh no, you and 10 million other realtor. Like I told
Hmm.
Clark, oh, I'm gonna be a realtor. And he's like, basically, at first he said, when you came to me, it was like, I was like, I am going to go be an actor. I am going to be on a, it's like, oh God, a realtor, this girl, I was like, oh gosh, because he was in the film business, so he was like, oh gosh, this. But then he quickly realized, wait a minute, I think she can do this. So I took every skill that I had about doing photo shoots, about having great content, about working hard, because I was like paying to work. I mean,
Yeah.
when I had a clothing line, I was literally paying to work. I mean, it was just money out, nothing in yet. It was like, oh, I'm going to be the next Spanx. I'm going to be so this. The grandiosity was insane, and so that all got smashed when I when I got sober. I have lots of humility now, but I knew I had to just put the content out and like do the videos, things that I didn't want to do,
Yeah.
but that I just kept doing because I hadn't even sold anything, but I was like constantly talking about real estate. I knew I had to stop talking about styling, stop
Yeah.
talking about slips, stop talking about all that, and just really present and show up on social media, which is free,
Yeah.
and tell people that that's what I was doing. And then for them to see, like, okay, well, she's not changing her mind. Because I didn't want people like, oh God, she's so ADD. What is she doing now?
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
what
Like
is she
she's
up to?
this, and this.
Oh, she's gonna do this now. Now she's gonna no, no, no. I was like, I promise, guys, I'm just gonna do real estate. I'm gonna stay. I'm gonna make it. And I just kept believing in myself and just
Yeah.
putting it out there. So
Yeah. And now, I mean, it's so impressive of the like consistent presence you have in social. And it just feels like it's been forever, the story you've been telling forever. And you've taken it from like how all of us when we were just getting started are like, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, to like really owning it and having your own voice. And it's different, like also your own voice within the real estate industry in LA and
very
beyond,
different. Mhm.
and so it's like such a different spin, and I applaud you for that, because it probably took a long time, like lots of hits and misses, to find your niche. You got it.
Yeah. Well, I'll just give you guys a little background on that. So I come from 5 siblings. So I'm the oldest girl. So I have a full brother, stepsister, stepbrother, half brother, half sister. And we're all very, very close now. But I mean, it was like survival of the fittest in my family. Okay. It's not just like encouraging, like, you got this, you get a participation trophy. It was like, you suck. What are you doing? You're crazy. That is so aggressive. I can't. So when I first put out my Wilder Wednesday, so I've been doing these
Yeah.
videos now. So I'll just give you the background now so you kind of tell. So
Yeah.
right now in 2022, so my team, we have sold and have an escrow around $138 million. So last year we sold 100. This year is September. I mean, it's only August and we're around like 100 and yeah, 38 million. So we are in a very exponential growth, only 6 years in. And I started doing these Wilder Wednesday videos. So every Wednesday, I was like, I'm going to put out a minute or 2 minute video and just say what I'm doing. And this is before
Mhm.
anybody was doing videos. So 6 years ago. And they
Sure.
were terrible. It was like me with the ring light and like a camera and just like pressing play. And then, hi, welcome back to Wilder Wednesday. So
Yeah.
my family railed me. I mean, not like a little,
Oh.
they were just leaving me messages like, "Oh my God, who do you think you are? What is it? This is the dumbest thing." And they'd be like, "Hey, welcome back." I mean, I just was like, "Nope, nope, nope, nope." Earmuffs, not listening to them. Like, thank God I didn't listen to them. So we're at like the beach trip that I set this whole like 20-person house out in South Carolina. I'm like, what do y'all think about my Wilder Wednesdays now? And they're like, oh, we love them. They're great. They're great. They're fine. They're doing great. So I'm just like, yeah. So don't listen to the haters. Usually your
Mhm.
family's first. Don't even, like just do your thing. Because if I had listened to them, who knows if I would even have gotten there? Because now everybody knows, Wilder
Mhm.
Wednesday. They expect it, and every Wednesday for 5.5 years, I've been putting it out, and so
Yeah.
it's just the consistency, like you said. And I have a full time social media. Natalie, she's amazing. She helps all the time, but like, and then I have different people filming all it
Yeah.
and it's a whole thing. I mean, we're filming now here at 10:30, and I've had like my people here since 7:30 filming like these like meals that we've been making and like, getting things ready for a lot of the charities that we do. And
Yeah.
so it's a constant thing. It's like creating content because so my degree, I went to Georgia. I mean, I got a drinking degree at Georgia for sure. But also I got a I was summa cum laude. I did really well. I could really multitask on
Yeah.
that. So, but
Yeah.
it was in marketing, and so I feel like my company really is like a marketing machine. That kind of what it is, because it's not just the social media, the videos, the putting out contents, the newsletters, and the ads. I mean the TikToks now we have to do the
Yeah.
reels. I mean, there's so much that goes into it, but I'm just not scared of it now because I've been practicing for 6 years,
Mhm.
because I made myself do these dumb videos for 6 years. So I have no problem with coming on a Zoom or doing a video or being
Right.
filmed. It's just like, oh,
Yeah,
been
you
doing
can
it long enough. It is what it is. Yeah.
totally, totally. Yeah. And I think, something that I speak on the podcast, but also just in life to entrepreneurs a lot, because I'm so curious about how people do what they do. And a common thing is people who take action. Like
Yes.
there's so many of us who say, I want to do this, or I'm going to do this reel today. And I'm not going to care what people think, but then they don't do it. And then that gets some frustration and, being stuck and staying in that same place. But, and we've been talking, 20 minutes now, and you have taken action your whole adult life to move
Wow.
to the next thing and figure things out.
Yeah, it's a lot of action, and that's why I was excited when you contacted me about this. Because I'm like, oh my god, she's doing a podcast. That's huge action,
Hmm.
for your business. It's
Yeah.
it's so it's incredible. So that's why I'm like, okay, find what you like, just do it. Nobody cares. The other thing too is that people, they do these videos or these reels, and I don't watch any of mine. I'm like mortified. I'm not like looking at it or critiquing it. I'm just like, okay, Grant, you're gonna film it and then
Yeah.
you're just gonna send it to me and we put it up. I mean, I'm not like, oh, awesome. Let me just check it through. It's just like it's done. Done's better than perfect. Like let's just okay, great. It's there for Wilder Wednesday. I don't even watch it. And like I'm
Right.
glad some people do, but it's like I already know what I said because I already did it. I was there. I don't need to critique myself. I don't need to check on it anymore. I don't need to have the perfectionism come in. It's really perfectionism that holds people back. It's a huge issue that holds people back on any sort of action. So whatever you can do to break through that mold. Like I even did, you know, so many years ago when I first got sober, I wanted to do some things that would scare me. So I did stand-up comedy. Okay. I was like, well, what's scarier than that?
Oh
No,
my
no,
gosh. I could never.
oh yeah, yeah. I did a class. I got up in front of 200 people. I did the thing, and it was
Yeah.
like, why am I doing this? You don't know. I'm like, I don't want to be a touring stand-up comedian, but I just want to do something that scared myself. So I did that. And then I did some improv. I never
Mhm.
wanted to be an actor. I don't want to act like anybody but myself. But it was just like, okay, well, I'll just try it. Why am I doing it? Well, I have some time. I don't really like what I'm doing as a job. I don't have yeah. What about some improv? I did it with a friend. And then like who knew that that was going to help me on Shark Tank? I mean, I was really prepared to be on, Shark
Yeah.
Tank. Then I took that into, the videos and things. So do stuff that scares you. Try it out. Like, what is going to help you to kind of break through your fears of doing it? Because nobody really cares. They just want to see your authentic self. That's why it's like one take wonder. I'm not trying to film all day and like get the perfect take. It's just like one take. Okay, good. You got it, Grant. Just edit it, send it over, and Natalie will post it up. And if you have a hard time posting on social, get somebody to help you.
Right.
Personally, like I know you're like, oh, you're so consistent. I have a really hard time with actually hitting post because it seems
Mm. Mhm.
braggy to me. It seems
Yeah.
like kind of boastful. And my whole lesson in life from 13 years ago is complete humility after I lost everything. It was like not this big shot anymore. So it's hard for me to, oh, we did this and I sold this for 1.6 million over asking. But it's like I can't be a secret agent. I mean,
Mm-mm.
who else is going to say? Who else is going to
Right.
talk about it? So hire somebody where you can, just like we talked about, to get it out if you can't do it. Even you can start slow. There are even people like all over the world that can help you for you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. There's
So
virtual assistants who specialize in social that are not like very, very, very low cost to get
yeah,
started.
and that are great that they can hit the
Mhm.
post button for you because I understand, and I'm not. it's hard for me, even at this level. I have, whatever, 41,000 followers on Instagram now, and like I'm trying to get the TikTok up, but even though I'm 43, I feel so old doing all the TikTok. But she makes
I
me do
know
it.
that works.
Natalie's like, you still got to, I don't care. You're doing this today. I'm like, fine. And then you just do it. I take direction and
Mhm.
major action, like you said.
Yeah. And I think that another point you're speaking to is like being your authentic self because, you know, let's talk like preschool, for example. My son's in preschool and we
Yeah.
visited 100 preschools to decide on one.
Yeah.
And you meet a ton of parents along the way. There's parents who definitely show up to preschools here dressed to the nines, trying to impress, really, really trying. And then there's people who like show up in a t-shirt, but like that's who they are. And
Yeah.
they're authentic and they're real. And you could tell the difference. And that's sort of my analogy to social of like, there's a lot of people who put lipstick on a pig and try to make social work and they're trying to be someone else. But then the
Yeah.
people who show up as themselves, that's the most attractive. You want to
Yeah.
know more. You want to hear their story. You want to hear the good things that they're doing. I mean, it is a highlight reel. So, like that's
Yes.
what is so attractive to be so comfortable in your own skin. It takes a lot to get there, but that's a draw.
I mean, it's taken a while, and then sometimes people might be like, "Oh my god!" Like maybe if they start following me in the beginning, and there's realtors around the world that follow me, it's like kind of that's like a lot of my audience.
Yeah.
Then, but I'm sure they were like, "Oh my god, she's always dressed up to the nines." I mean, you've known me 15
This is
years.
you.
Have you ever seen me in sweatpants or something casual? No, I don't even. I
Never.
barely own it. I
I
I
mean,
I
Shelton, the first trip we took together away, I was like dressed and you're like, girl, let me do your hair. And you like took me in the bathroom.
I'm
Yeah.
just big six. I'm like, come on, we got to
Yeah.
do this. I
Yeah.
mean,
But it's perfect because that's you. That is you all the time, always.
all the time,
Yeah.
always dressed, always.
Always.
It's not. Yeah, and like people are like, "Oh my gosh," because I just took this incredible trip to London and Paris. I've never done something like that for myself. I went with some girlfriends. We had
Yeah.
the most epic time. And then I planned and produced an entire photo shoot from Instagram, by the way, of myself for,
Mhm.
doing this thing. Because I found the photographer on Instagram, then he put me in touch with the stylist who brought me a
Yeah.
hundred $1,000 worth of clothes, the
Oh,
most incredible gowns, things that were on like the Cannes red carpet film
what?
festival. I mean, just the craziest things. And I
Yeah.
had an assistant. I mean, it's so over the top. People are like, did you
Yeah.
buy them? I'm like, no, I didn't buy them. That's what a stylist is for. I'm like,
Yeah.
that I used to be a stylist. I get it. This is fun
Mhm.
for me. That is my fun. And some people are like probably like, oh my gosh, who what is she doing? I'm like, why are you doing a photo shoot? For me. Even my sister to this day, she'll text me. She's like, huh, we were just wondering what your photo shoot was for. And I'm like, for me, for
Yeah.
fun. And she laughs at me and then they do their quote is another day, another photo shoot. I'm like, and then and she's like, it's fine because I get all of your leftovers. I'll take anything you want to send me. I'm like, yeah, that's right. So
Yeah.
I mean, now
Yeah.
it's just a joke. Like I just don't take myself seriously at
Yeah.
all.
But
I
you are
think it's
who you are and you know that. And that's why I feel like your social has grown and why, you know, you're showing up as you are. It's not you're not dressing up for the camera. This is Shelton.
no, no,
Yeah.
no. I'll be dressed like this 7 a.m. For any reason. Like everybody's like, "Oh, you're wearing your prom dress today?" Yep, yep, got my prom dress on. See you in 5. For a showing, for a for for whatever. I just can't that casual look. So I actually, when you were talking about that though, Shannon,
Mhm. Yeah.
I had kind of a identity crisis happen a little bit
Mhm.
at the preschool when I started, and as just being a mom. That was I had to like try to like find mom clothes. So I'm like,
Yeah.
what am I doing? Like I'm used to wearing a dress every day. I'm Southern. And then
Mhm.
mom's like, oh, I gotta have like the mother jeans and then they're totally out now, but those golden goose shoes and then like make sure this sweaters and I'm like, I don't but it was that was even harder for me. That was like, I mean, I can't do it. Like that was so being not authentic to myself. I'm like,
Yeah.
I just have to go to the park in a dress. Like
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
can't. I
it's
wear
a
heels every day. Sorry.
yeah, yeah, and, like, doesn't matter, boy, mom, this is who I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think it's just it's such an attractive quality to see in another
Oh,
person to, to know themselves, and I think that's just, it's part of your light and why people are drawn to you. So,
well, thank you. But I'll tell you though, that part that like little mom part really threw me off. That really threw me off. And then I had to just go, what am I doing? Like you said, what am I
mhm,
doing? I can't be anything but myself. So now all of my
mhm,
friends from preschool, they're just like, oh, that's who she is. That's exactly how she shows up, rather than me trying to like dress down to make everybody comfortable. I mean, it's
yeah.
just I can't.
It's silly. You gotta be who you are, and I think that part also speaks to the team that you're recruiting and have built. You know, they're probably similar, like-minded of like taking that action, building their life, building upon your vision of what you want to grow, and another thing, you talk a lot about your friends and the people who have been along and your family along for the ride. You're building community, which is so good for people's well-being, their long-term health, like to be surrounded by people who lift you up and you lift them up as well.
Oh, that's my big I'm like the ultimate encourager. I really and I've been saying it for years, the
Mhm.
positron, that is me. I really don't like to bring any the negative energy into any of the vibe, all the positron. And yeah, I mean, and my team really, it's just like no divas allowed. I just can't. I mean, I'm not a diva. As much as I dress up and do all these things, I'm the first to clean a toilet. I
Yeah.
am the first to get the cobwebs down. I am the first to, I mean, we're baking the cookies, we're moving the thing. I'm not like, oh, excuse me, you got to do that. I don't order people around. I don't act like the boss. I'm very, down to earth. And yeah, encourage people, want to lift them up. And that's why I wanted to have the team. For example, one of my friends, it's like from preschool that we met, she's one of my dearest friends. Now we did workouts on Zoom during pandemic. And then we have this book club. And then she was like, gosh, I think I want to do real estate. I was like, yes, you have to do it. Please, will you be on my team? I would love it. She was like, you would have me on your team? Anyway, so she hadn't worked in 8 years, and now she's like closed three transactions within 4 months. So going from making zero to that, she's paying for her child's, private school. I mean, it's just like wild.
Yeah.
That's the kind of help and the give back that we can do together. I mean, we're just helping each other. It's like we every day we're like, oh, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I mean, gratitude and humility are the two things that I have to have
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
surrounding me because but I love to lift people up. I want people to succeed. I want them to do well. It just matters. It matters so much to me. So
Yeah. And you're doing that for your team that you're building. You're also doing it for the community at large by, giving back in so many ways you've done like this morning, but you've gone back, gave in bigger ways too throughout the year. And,
oh
it's,
yeah, a lot of ways. Yeah. I
yeah.
just
What,
means
where
it
do
means
you,
it means a lot.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say, like, how do you find, is there like a sort of like a sweet spot of like areas that you really want to focus on giving back to?
So
Or are you just sort of picking and choosing as you go?
well, we things come to me and then I'll go through it. We really worked with Alexandria House a lot. We love them. And I did a huge thing for PS Arts and we had a booth and I really love that charity as well. It's just like
Mhm.
arts in the public schools. It's so amazing. My
Yeah.
mom's an artist, so I really love that giving back. And then also, so we have something coming. We're actually filming it next week. So we have a sizzle reel coming up for my own reality show that that it's really a different spin on realtors. So I'm very excited about it because it's basically a lot of people see realtors as not that great. It's not that great of a light. And so, and then very, like there's some really successful shows out there and I am
Yeah.
like more power. Like I think it's great, but I
Yeah.
am just kind of very opposite. I'm very opposite of that. And I'm, want to show the other side and how the good that people can do. And so basically what that will be is that every episode will be where we go and with ever the client that we're working with, they will
Mhm.
help share which charity they would want to give back. So a percentage of our commission that we're helping. So we're helping them to build wealth. We're helping them to sell their
Yeah.
house and get the house and do all the great things. And then showing the process of that, not just like, we got the house. It's like very like, the ins and outs of how it works. And then we get to go and highlight who they want to give back to.
It's
So it's
amazing.
very kind of that like heartstrings, really emotional, very family oriented, not like, look, I can drive a Bentley now, like not so
No
grandiose.
drama, more wholesome.
There's no fighting within the
Yeah.
team. No one that's not allowed. Because there's enough drama in real estate. It's very
Mhm.
emotional. I mean, I
Yeah.
really call myself more of a real estate therapist. I mean, it's like putting on my real estate therapy hat. Like, we gotta go in there and make sure because it's so emotional to buy a house, sell a house, move. I mean, it's like top five most difficult things. So
Mhm.
I understand how, because I've been through it myself. We bought a house. I'm like, I hope my husband, we've got a house ourselves. I mean,
Yeah.
it was the ups and the downs of it. I mean, it's just, and then to see what we've been able to build from having that and doing the remodel over time and the
Mhm.
wealth that's helped us to attain more so than any stocks or anything else that we could have is a
Yeah.
home. And you get to live there.
Yeah.
Yay. So
Yes.
I mean, there's so many good parts about it. So yeah, so that's kind of the premise, and that's we're
Mhm.
working on it right now, so that's exciting. There's
That's
some other
exciting.
TV things in the works, so I'm just
Yeah.
happy to kind of get my vision out there and have
Yeah.
being like a super collaborative agent and working with other people and being an agent's agent, not like being in competition with the other agents because we're really not. There's abundance, there's enough for everyone to go around. So
Yeah, yeah, and your niche is different and how you approach the business is super different. I mean, I know this from when you talk to my husband Aaron, but I thought this was the sweetest idea of like remembering the house's birthday.
oh yeah, the
And
home anniversary. Yeah,
yeah,
every year you're gonna something shows up and you're like, oh my gosh, that was 4 years ago. Yeah, I'm like, I didn't forget. Yeah, want to
no.
like make sure that you remember because it's such a big deal, and it's also a big deal that you picked me.
Hmm.
I know that there are thousands and thousands of Asians out there. It's just really I want to show appreciation too.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I think it's so sweet. It is really just the most thoughtful thing to celebrate, you know, amazing emotional stressful decision that someone made, but they made that home theirs, and you recognize that how
yeah,
important that is.
it's a
Yeah.
privilege to be
Yeah.
a part of the journey too. So
Totally.
those clients have stayed my clients, and we've been able to get their homes and buy a new home, sell that home, so it's part of the family still. It's like
Yeah.
part of the journey to be on. So
Totally. So Shelton, you take care of others a lot. How do you take care of yourself? Like how are you juggling all of this looking amazing? Like tell me your secret sauce.
oh my gosh. Well, I think being sober is really helpful. I mean, not
Hmm.
drinking.
Yeah.
So that's
Number
really
one.
helpful because also, like as an agent, you can call me anytime because a lot of people do call me or text me at 11 p.m. I'm not drunk. You're gonna
Yeah.
get a straight answer. There's no paperwork's being done.
Yep.
Someone has had a couple too many, which is fine. I mean, other people, I love people when they drink. I'm like, yay, have one for me. But I just, I stay very, and I have an insane amount of energy. It's
Yeah.
just I was born that way. I mean, my mom was always like, "Whoa, here she comes," and I've always been this way. So that's also I don't need a lot of sleep. I have like 6 to 7 hours is fine for me. But I
Hmm.
do have a trainer, and
Yeah.
I do try to get some sort of you know food delivery. I have an assistant that helps me to have food delivered or schedule in to make sure that I'm eating. I
Yeah.
drink a lot of coffee. It's just that's my only big vice, but I think you're allowed to, but I kind of take it a little over the edge maybe. But I
Which
love life.
Or
Exactly.
Shelton.
Oh, like, I mean, sometimes 7 or 8. I mean, it's aggressive. I mean, it's a lot of coffee or espresso, but
Espresso or cups?
it's like a little
Both.
combo. It's a little both.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
there's I'll try to throw some matcha in, so I'll get a chill maybe. How else? I mean, I get nails and hair, but and now I've really gotten smart. Like my girl that does my hair comes to my house. The girl that
yeah.
does
Yeah.
my nails comes to the house, so I can be working while I'm there. I'm not like bothering people at salons and like we're
Right.
getting stuff done. That's been super helpful with my schedule. And yeah, the my trainer, and then I. What else do I do? I mean, I my thing that's so unique about me that sometimes I think people just are like, I watch your social, I'm absolutely exhausted.
Hmm.
It's just like I like worked on I have a cranial sacrum like therapist lady. She's
Yeah.
incredible and helping. That's the one I want you to meet. But so my thing is that I don't want to have shame anymore around people saying to me, well, you need to take days off. You need to do, I mean, I had a lot of that. I actually don't need to take days off. I'm actually fine because I can be on my phone and get a lot of work done and then make sure everybody's scheduled to be where they need to be. There's
Yeah.
usually one day that I can not do a showing. I'm still working on my phone, but I'm not like dressed and have to get ready and go to a showing. But the
Right.
rest of the days, at least 6 days a week. And I don't have a problem with that. I love what I do. And I don't want to feel shame about that anymore because I am a workaholic and I love being a workaholic. That's what makes me happy. Being in
Yeah.
the mix, knowing what's happening with my business makes me feel safe and calm.
Yeah.
Me like saying I'm going to take time off and not look at anything, I would freak out because
Mhm.
while we're on this for an hour, I'll probably have like around like 100 text messages.
Oh my gosh.
100 to
Yeah.
100,
Yeah.
and that's fine.
Yeah.
I prefer that. If I don't have text messages, then I'm like, okay, like, oh no, oh no. So I love to be busy. This gives me energy, and I am the most extreme form. If anybody wanted to, do like a study on,
Mhm.
oh my gosh, now I'm just forget what is it called? Introverts, extroverts,
Yes.
extrovert.
Yeah.
I don't even have like a 0.001% introvert. I don't even have that at all. It is like extreme case of extrovert where I get energy from other people.
Mhm.
So that gives me joy. If some reason I had to stay home for a long time or just not see people, then that would be like I would get depressed. I mean, I don't even know.
Yeah.
It's never happened. Like I would be so upset. So I love having our dog Buster, the kids, it's a revolving door. I love having my assistants are coming in, the hair people, the makeup people, the blah blah blah.
Mhm.
It's like I feed off of that. I love that. So, and then, having team members, them calling me, people are like, oh, are you stressed? No, I
Mm-mm.
love it. I don't want that taken off my plate. It gives me so much joy. So I think that people also, if they do look at my social or do compare, don't do compare and despair because
No.
I am a freak. I know I am a freak of nature with the amount of energy I have from others. Some people you have to know yourself. That's
Yeah.
like being authentic to yourself. Some people need like they have kids and then they get completely exhausted and they
Mhm.
need time alone. Then they need to work it out with their nanny or their husband. Like I need 4 hours by myself to recharge. I don't need that. So
Funny. Yes, my husband calls them baby days where that's me. I'm like, I just need some moments. I'm going to be out and doing things, but I just need a little time and then
yes,
recharge. But I see it through you too. You even on your trip on your vacation, you're like, I'm going to do this thing.
uh,
And
yeah.
it's like you're not sitting there enjoying Paris or London and just like chilling. You're like, I'm still going, and that's
That's fun for me, and I
yeah.
like to take photos, and I like to be where people are like, "Oh, be more in the present." I'm like, "Well, that is fun for me because if I have the photo and then I can keep it, and then I can look at it later again and remember and recreate the memory, keep that in my mind." I mean, that's fun for me. So I'm not going to apologize anymore for
Mm-mm.
what other people think about me, about my what I do. I'm allowed to do whatever I want to do. I'm like,
Exactly.
it's fun. I think it's fun. I love going to the spa. Don't get me wrong. That is my favorite time to turn off is when I'm being pampered, like getting a facial, getting a massage. That to me is pure joy. But I used to really beat myself up. I'm like, oh, I need to be doing more time off and time. It's like,
Mm-mm.
no, just get out of here. And everybody is allowed to have their own opinions, but I don't need to hear your opinions. What you think about me is none of my business. It doesn't matter. Don't let me know.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
care.
Totally, totally. And it's funny. A lot of clients I work with are definitely do the comparison game because they're like, I should be doing more of this or I should be doing less of this. And it's like, what works for you? It's always about what works for you. Like, I don't care if it's a fad diet or you saw it on Instagram or this person you followed for years does this, so it's got to work for you. Like, no, 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 no. Like, everyone is an individual. So,
Yeah.
yes, it takes a lot of trial and error to get to what works for you. But when you get to that point and you need to be around people, I know I need a couple of hours by myself on a weekend to like
Yes.
get that recharge moment. Once you know what works for you, like you are gold because you know what fills you up and what drains your battery.
To- totally. And just get to know yourself. Get to know yourself without like the noise out there. But that's taken me a long time. I'm like 43 and finally going, okay, because my biggest weakness or character defect or whatever we call it is people pleasing. I want to
Yeah.
make sure everybody likes me and everybody's happy and everybody's all the things. And I mean, it's getting exhausting. I'm like, no thanks. Like people can think whatever and I was like, oh, I can't say that I wanted, I'm like working on my show or something. Like, no, I want a show. Yes, great, perfect. I
Yeah.
think what I'm doing is very different and unique, and it would be really fun for other people to see that and be inspired. Okay, let it go. Like happens So I just have to kind of let everybody's allowed their own opinions. Opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one, and
Yep.
so I'm just like, okay, well, have your whatever you think. Because I try to
Yeah.
really one other thing that's I've been I really worked on and I got annihilated on it is judgment,
Mm-hmm.
and it happened in mom life and it
Yeah.
happened with nursing. So I'll just tell you this quick
Yeah.
story. So I was able
Yeah.
to nurse my son Bo because I had no other responsibilities. My husband was great. I was able just to be a mom. And that's what I wanted to do. And I CEO of Bo, I nursed him. It was easy for me. It was great. Nursed for 19 months. I'd probably still be nursing him at 8 years old if I didn't need to get pregnant. I mean, we had a real bond. It was
Yeah.
awesome. So I would like look at other moms and be like, oh my God, why aren't they nursing me? What's wrong? Da, 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 da.
Mhm.
And my mom was really judgy about it too. So I had that in my head. Come Lane, another boy, 2 years, 3 months later, wonderful, great pregnancy, had Lane. He's not gaining weight. He's not gaining weight. He's not nursing. He doesn't like it. What's going on? He's crying.
Mm.
He's come to find out he's allergic to my milk. He's allergic to my milk. I couldn't nurse him. The
Yeah.
doctor's like, you're poisoning him. He doesn't like it. He's losing weight. You need to give him the formula. I'm like, I'm only gonna nurse. My Bo never even had formula one day. Blah, blah. So that was a complete and utter lesson in,
Mm-hmm.
in humility of like no Judge Judy, never again. It's like I got completely annihilated again. Total humble pancake, humble crepe,
Yep.
sliced down everything that I thought I've done. So when I see people or hear people, they're like nursing that. I'm like, do you? Like, oh my God, the baby's fine. Well, if that's what you like, great. If that's what you don't like, great, great. I mean, just totally like mom power,
Mhm.
you know, zero. And I've taken that in every part of my life now,
Yep.
at like zero judgment. Anybody wants to do it.
Oh my gosh,
So
it's so funny. I mean, I think being a parent I mean, obviously there's many perspective and life shifts you do, but like there are things you're like, we were at a coffee shop in Larchmont where we used to live, and
yeah,
before we had Ellis, and so like 6 years ago. And there was a little boy and his dad, and then the boy kept dropping his bagel on the floor, and the dad kept giving it to him. And I was
yeah.
like,
Oh yeah.
never, never, no,
Like guys,
never do that.
trusting.
And and now like with the twins, I'm like, that's fine. Those
Yeah.
germs are good for you. look
Yeah.
at that wall, whatever,
You need five
and it
second rule. Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
totally. But whether it's like letting your guard down or being like, here's my expectations, but here's really the reality, and I'm running with the reality, like you got to do it. And those lessons, yeah, you take like it's for me, it was like a lesson in like letting go of a lot of perfectionism because it was just like, well, we're not doing this. This is not the way we do it. And to being like, you know what, that happens. Okay. Like
Yeah.
we'll move on.
Totally. I mean, I, it happens to me all the time. I am judged all the time. I could care less. I mean, my sons call my nanny mom. Okay. And like, how could you let your son go? I was like, listen, I wish she was my mom. Okay.
Yeah,
She's amazing. She's incredible. Okay, so I'm the fun mom, and she does all like packing lunches and hard stuff that I don't like. Okay, so we got a good system. So whatever, and like we have three parents. I wish I had three parents. That's the greatest thing. They're like the most happy, loved children ever. We are
totally.
fine. People can say whatever they want, and now I like laugh, but I always just bring it back with like some humor like that. I mean, just like really? Oh my God. I wish she was my mom. She's amazing. You should meet her. I'm like, I mean, what else do you say? Like, oh, cool. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, just like let it roll off and not stay
Yeah.
with you. And that helps a ton. I mean,
Fair.
you said that you probably have 100 text messages. Like what, what does your typical day look like of like, you've been shooting in the morning today, you're
Yeah.
talking to me, media interviews, like what else is going on?
So most of the day is so I get up early around 6. I do a workout. I'm checking my phone. People are like, don't look at your phone. Well, I look at my phone. I'm checking my phone, checking my messages, checking everything. I respond to clients if it's at 6 a.m. or midnight, whenever I want them to feel, I'm not one to say like, oh, my hours are from 9 to 4, 9 to 5. I'm like, no, it's whenever because it's so emotional. I want to
Yeah.
get back to you if you have a question. So I get back to clients, I talk to them, I'm making sure offers are written, I'm going to showings, I'm doing inspections, I am prospecting, I'm going to lunches, I'm going to lunch after this, I'm going to be with the kids and do different activities with them. I played tennis yesterday. So there's no like exact typical day, but I'm in the office. I do a lot of meetings. We do meetings with the team on Mondays. I'm just very active
Mhm.
like on the phone and checking in on emails, making sure listing presentations are done, going on listing appointments. So there's no exact typical day. That's what I love too. And I also am not like sequestered just to my office. I'm like out and about and all over. But some days it's great to have an office day and just stay in the office and get things done. So yeah, there's a lot that's always happening, always taking calls and texts from the team too and
Yeah,
clients. That's my
totally.
main thing. I want to try to be as quick to respond as I can. I think that's a really good thing about me is that I really am communicative and responsive.
Mhm.
Because
Absolutely.
you can lose a whole people are like, oh well, no, there's just business hours. I'm like, there's no business hours in real estate. I mean, there's things that have to, offers to go out on like a Sunday night at 10 p.m. I mean, you have to
Mhm.
just do it when you do it.
Yeah.
So
That you have to get something in before holiday weekend or call escrow immediately after a holiday weekend. Yeah.
totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
staying on it. But I have the best team and people that are helpful and able to like show up and do things. And so it's just, yeah, I love having a lot of help, and it helps them and it helps me. It's just a good, and everyone that works with us is like, oh my gosh, you guys are all seem like sisters or something, like very like you're related because you're all act the same. It's and we're all diverse, but it's all like the same energy of being of service. That's the vibe.
Totally. Totally. And you have a shorthand with each other, and probably they
Oh,
have a
yeah.
shorthand with the client. So like you're all sort of speaking the same language and you get it. And I think that consistency is so key in building a brand and
Yeah.
articulating that out. And you guys nailed that.
We're trying. We're
Yeah.
trying. We're always learning. We're always learning. But yes, I really try to do my best and putting them first. The clients
Yeah.
are first. No divas allowed. The
Yeah.
clients are first.
Yep.
So
Yep. One last question for you, Shelton. Question I ask everyone. Okay, this probably came in college after I too was drinking too much, but my college roommate and I,
I mean, we all did.
right? My college roommate and I would always pose this question at each other, but I think it's really relevant today, especially with people, doing their own thing and, needing like a phone a friend moment. If you had a button with you at all times and you press it and it can do anything for you, what would that button do?
Okay. Oh wow, that's a big question. That is a big one. Well, I guess I would say as trying to recover as a people pleaser. I think it is a good quality actually sometimes.
Hmm.
But I don't want to call it people pleaser, but I love people. I know it sounds so silly, but I love people to get along. And I think what has been really difficult recently, and I don't want to talk politics or all these different things, but it's like no one is hearing each other and no one it's not allowing each other to have their own opinions and their own ideas. It's like we just learn to communicate better and collaborate and get on the same page. It would be so much easier than this fighting. I can't stand the drama, the fighting, and then no one talking over each other, and then my way or the highway.
Right. Right.
So I think the button would just be just hearing each other out and trying, like we're all hopefully just trying for the same team, the same experience, to be together, to be humans, and to get along. So I really wish that there was that, but there's a
Yeah.
lot of noise and there's a lot of fighting that's happening right now, and miscommunication of people that's
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
that's I hate that, but the way that I combat that is I don't watch any news. I don't watch
Hmm.
anything that could be spike it up like the
Totally.
like I like peaceful situations, and that's why and I always joke and I say, like, I'm wearing my crown of patience, because I think the patience comes in when people get scared and are in fear,
Yeah.
then
True.
their emotions get really kicked up. So I try to be patient and try to be more reasonable and just say, like, it doesn't work to yell at each other. It doesn't work
Yeah.
like with agents or with
No.
people getting upset. It's just we just don't do that. We're just going to be adults here, and let me just listen in. And it's just always fear. It's fear. So if people had more faith that things would work out, because things
Yeah.
seem to work out. I mean, I think everything's always working out for me. That's my thought. That's my
Yeah.
mantra and my vision, and
Yeah.
so
With time, everything will get to this place it's supposed to be. But I think your button for peace and quiet reminds me of one of my favorite quotes. And I'm not really a quotes person, but this one
yeah.
it's always stuck with me and I remember it in moments of stress. Be the mountain in a snowstorm.
Oh,
Like,
I love
yeah.
that.
Yeah. Like there's so much going around, but you are there and you are focused and you're going this way and you're not getting dragged around. Like, I think about that sometimes, even when it's a crazy day with the kids. I'm like, be the mountain.
Be the mountain. I was just saying that. I'm like, I'm here. I'm the patient mountain that just
Yeah.
stays put. I'm just like, say whatever you need to say, and then I'm
Hmm.
just I'm still
Yeah.
here.
It's right here. Yes.
No, no,
Awesome. Well, it was absolutely fantastic to chat with you today. Thank you so much for giving me so much of your time on a crazy busy
oh,
day, but it's always great to catch up with you. And I can't wait till we do it in person.
yes, we do. I know next week I'm going to see you. Yay!
Yay.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you, Shelton.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.